And we're back with the Screen Team on today's Talk 930 KWOC, a local movie review show here on KWOC, and it's all brought to you by Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers, where Walmart is next door to us. Go by and see Steve Whitworth and the gang. They've got, of course, the line of Pandora jewelry. Sabrina, very beautiful stuff, right? That's not Pandora what you're wearing.
No, but it's still from Whitworth's.
Yeah, that's our adoption necklace.
Yes, it's got little baby feet cut out of a pendant.
Yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff and engrave.
Stuff that you guys can do there.
You even had stuff engraved in there, right?
I did. Had Luke's name put on it.
Right. You can do that with jewelry and frames, and I'm still trying to get with your dad. Maybe we can make an R2-D2 ring.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be cool? Like an R2-D2 wedding ring?
It could be done.
I think he could pull it off. He's a wizard with that kind of stuff.
We're going to make it happen, for sure.
He can make me one.
We want to give props to 33 Productions. They do a lot of stuff with internet marketing on the internet.
Yes.
Go figure, right?
Yes, we do.
A lot of Facebook stuff, and you kind of teach folks how to sell themselves on the old Facebook machine.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you pretty much nailed it there, actually.
Man, I'm awesome. That's why I'm the leader of the Screen Team.
Also, Ben Atkins, he's the man.
Yeah, make sure you follow Dr. Ben Atkins on Facebook. And Poplar Bluff Drywall. If you're looking to get some work done inside, they can do interior, exterior finishing, commercial, residential, don't matter. Give them a call, 714-3127. Poplar Bluff Drywall, we rock. All right, this next film is the best film of 2013, according to the Academy Awards. It's 12 Years a Slave, and this is a movie based on a book that was written by Solomon Northup. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Correct.
Man, I'm awesome.
You're having a good day, babe.
I am having a good day.
4 for 4, man.
Great day. So it was written by this guy who was a free man from the North who got kind of tricked into being a slave back in the
He was kidnapped.
All right, fine, kidnapped. But he was tricked to get to Washington, D.C. He was tricked.
He was shanghaied, bamboozled.
So they tricked him, they kidnapped him, whatever you want to say, and they sold him into slavery, and he was a slave for 12 years. And this is basically his story, and it's a pretty amazing story, guys.
Yeah. The story is incredible. I think that that's the biggest selling point of the movie. This is a true story. This is an amazing story, and even though it's very harsh and hard to watch at times, it's still very uplifting.
Yeah, very much so. Sabrina, did you think the same way?
Well, as with any slavery movie, I always go to bed feeling like a real heel just because I'm Caucasian. And I didn't have anything to do with it.
Are you sure it's not just because you're Sabrina?
Well, that might be too. I'm a sensitive soul. But I think this is the first one I've ever seen. I don't know if it's the first one they've ever made, but it's the first time I've been exposed to a story that was after slavery was abolished in some states.
No,
Is that correct? Is that how it was? Or was there just some states that were just never slave states?
This was,
right.
yeah.
He was from New York, and so he was a free man in New York.
He was born a free man, but I guess that's where my history is rough, is because I don't know were all the states slave states and some of them broke away, or were some of the states just never slave
just
states?
In the South.
See, that's the history, and that's where you're exposed to this situation. They have this man who, because of the color of his skin, was put into slavery in the United States. And my history, my long, long time ago history, refers to all of them being brought over on ships and brought into the country as slaves already. And so this was the first time I was ever exposed to the idea that a man could be put into slavery in his own country based on the color of his skin and not given any rights to speak up and say who he really was.
Despite being born a free man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was a very well-educated individual, and even thus could not talk his way back into convincing anyone because they wouldn't hear it.
Yeah,
and
he
they
even
beat
wrote the
him
book
to
on
keep
his
his mouth shut.
experiences. Not very long after he was released, he wrote a book on his experience.
I just thought it was interesting, and it opened my eyes to another concept because, you go, when I was born and raised, we saw the movie Roots. Okay, that was the first exposure on television to slavery and to the whole concept. And I know that they teach in schools now a whole lot more probably about this stuff than they did when I was a kid. And they certainly taught a lot more when I was a kid than they did to the generation before that.
Sure.
So each generation is being exposed to a lot more information. I just don't know how to correlate it between actual fact and what is good Hollywood stuff.
So the Civil War was free states versus slave states, right?
Listen, I don't care if I'm exposing myself as a historical idiot. I'm willing to stand up and be heard as an idiot in order that others may learn from my idiocy.
All right, well, I'm going to... See, I'm just the opposite.
Sabrina.
Thank you.
I'm just the opposite. I like to keep my idiocy to myself.
And yet you're a historian.
I know. But, you were telling me something a couple days ago that, when you watch a lot of movies that are have to deal with slavery and stuff, it's kind of hard to watch.
It is.
Sometimes they go a little overboard with the what they show the audience. And you felt that they showed just enough.
That's
just
like
enough.
I felt like they broke away from the intensity before you just completely crashed altogether and couldn't handle the rest.
Kind of like Passion of the Christ.
Right, which really was hard on people. It made it hard for people to finish
think
the
that
movie.
was a great film also. But yeah, that's what it's more known for, sadly, is just...
The brutality.
The brutality. And I know that was part of the point, but I think that there is much more of a message to that. With this film, I feel a little bit of the same way, Sabrina, but I think that a lot of this movie could have been condensed. It's a 2-hour and 13-minute movie, and I think it could have been at the most 2 hours. Right. There were a lot of scenes that they left lingering for a long time, and it was like, this isn't really advancing the story. There's a lot better way to show time elapsing than real time. You know what I mean?
Right,
One of the times they do that is when he's being strung up by the tree. And
Yes.
I'm just going to say that because it's kind of not really giving anything away, but it's a very intense scene.
It is.
And there is nothing happening. There's no action except for the fact that they strung him up. He's on his tippy toes, and that is the only thing that is saving his life. But rather than cut him down, they left him there.
Right.
And they do this really long single cut. They don't break away, and then all of a sudden you start seeing the other slaves come out, and they just start going about their daily business
They're just
all the
walking
while,
around. Yeah,
while
that was
he's
wild.
still hanging there. And then one girl just runs up and gives him a drink of water and runs away. But it's like they didn't want to, get in trouble themselves
Right.
Sure.
by helping or doing anything to draw attention to it. So they just sort of endured it. And that also speaks to the savagery that they were just brought into this world of slavery to believe that they had no choice.
Right. There were a lot of scenes that were like that, though, for me, that they could have condensed, and I think that it would have been just as powerful, if not even more so. There were a couple scenes where, like, this shows them singing, shows them, carrying on with music and with song. And I'm like, that's cool when it advances the story. Mm-hmm. There is a montage in the film, one of the most, odd and disturbing montages I've seen, but it made sense because it was propelling the film forward. There are a lot of other scenes that they didn't do that with, and I was like, you could cut that down. It's great music. I'd love to hear it on a soundtrack, but I want, the film has just a time limit to tell a story, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't want anything superfluous, and I feel like there were a lot of shots that were like that. There's another scene where he's just found out that there's a possibility that he could be released. Mm-hmm. And they zoom in on his face for like 3 minutes. And I'm like, hey, listen, his facial expressions are telling a great story here, but I got the point like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's move on here, and let's actually get to that part of the film.
Yeah. So directors' choices weren't necessarily...
Was it the director? Was it the editor? I don't know. I'm not going to blame Steve McQueen.
I will.
I will too. This film has a great supporting cast in it. Of course,
Yes.
Chiwetel Ejiofor played Solomon Northup, and he got nominated for Best Actor. Also, Michael Fassbender, he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And if it wasn't for Jared Leto this year, man, he definitely should have won that award.
Absolutely. He was a very disturbing character and compelling to watch.
Also, Lupita Nyong'o, I can't pronounce her, but she actually won Best Supporting Actress this year. Benedict Cumberbatch, who played a slave owner, he did a great job. Mm-hmm. Brad Pitt was in it. Paul Dano, Paul Giamatti, very, very good cast. So if you get a chance, definitely check out 12 Years a Slave. Coming up after the break, we're going to review the new Muppet movie. That's next on Today's Talk 930 KWOC.